Yeah. Lil Brunson back at you with the back at you, and I am the best reporting on the Eagles. So we got to talk about it. You know what I mean? I didn't want to just, crowd the scene with video after video after video, with so much stuff going on. So I feel like we finally reached a point. We reached a point right now to where, it's a little calm, and we could talk about what our next moves got to be, and we could talk about some of the additions that the Philadelphia Eagles acquired during this time. So we all know about Darius Slay. You know what I mean? I think that was the most impressive acquisition out of the NFC East. I'm going to just call a spade a spade. I think Darius Slay makes the most immediate impact out of anybody that was acquired out of the NFC East. Because you got to think about it. Nobody really acquired nothing besides the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I will say in second place is Gerald McCoy. But, I got real confidence in the Eagles' offensive line against anybody's defensive front in the NFC East, man. That's just facts. Let's talk about some of the guys that departed. Malcolm Jenkins, we all know about that. One of my main reasonings for believing that Malcolm Jenkins departed was more of a money thing. I'm not going to say his age because he was still wildly productive. And I believe, Malcolm Jenkins showed us a lot. You know what I mean? Showed us a lot at that age, more than a lot of guys do at that age. So, Malcolm Jenkins will be missed. But, it is what it is, man. We had to move on. And also, you got to think like this. The Philadelphia Eagles also have to, get something done on the table with Zach Ertz. So Malcolm Jenkins really not – it was a surprise. I would have tried to get something done, me personally. But if it comes down between Jenk and Ertz, I mean, what are you going to do? Let's talk about some guys who probably not going to be missed as much. Now, Camus Brugier-Hill, for example, I believe he went to – where did Camus go? I think he went to Miami. Camus, I'm 50-50 with how much he's going to be missed and stuff like that. Camus had injury issues. He was one of the more consistent linebackers we had in a linebacking core that wasn't really that good, really that elite. So it wasn't hard to be, one of the better names out of that core. So, I mean, Camus, yeah, we could have used him, but, it's not going to break our back that we don't have him. Nelson Aguilar is a Raider. A lot of people got a lot of hate for Nelson Aguilar. A lot of people are saying good riddance. I knew this was Nelson Aguilar's end of the road in Philadelphia. But at the same time, I am aware of the things that Nelson Aguilar did for the team. I'm aware that Nelson Aguilar was special in the 2017 season. I'm aware that, there's an 80% chance that you don't win a ring if you don't have Nelson Aguilar on that roster. He was that good for us down the stretch in 2017. Where Nelson Aguilar fell short was, when Deshaun Jackson and Alshon Jeffrey went out of the picture, Nelson Aguilar wasn't able to step up and prove that he could be, somewhat of a number one wide receiver. Had Nelson Aguilar done that, Nelson Aguilar would have had way bigger offers than he got this offseason. A lot of people need wide receivers. Some people think Nelson Aguilar just need to change the scenery. But if Nelson Aguilar would have played really well while Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson was out, he would have still been an Eagle. You know what I mean? That's just how the cookie crumbled. Jordan Howard. I think Jordan Howard is a fantastic running back. He's another guy that injury hindered him. And, if he would have been able to play the entire season, I think his deal would have been much bigger in Miami. So, I think Jordan Howard will actually be missed. Big V, well-deserved, got a monster contract. And that's it for most of the guys to my knowledge of the guys that left. Now let's talk about some of the guys that we read up before we talk about some of these other acquisitions that we acquired during free agency. Now, we read up McLeod. We all know about reading up McLeod. McLeod deserved it. He played really well after surgery. We read up Jalen Mills. I think Jalen Mills actually deserved it. He played really well after surgery. Sudfeld was a no-brainer. And our big boy up front, I'm drawing the front right now. I think he came from the Colts earlier, but, we read up one of our D tackles. Now, the Philadelphia Eagles, I think, made the biggest splash out of every team in the NFC East when you talk about offseason acquisitions, because this is how I'm looking at it. We did things on all three levels of the defense. We got somebody on the line. Now, Javon Hargrave, whether you guys want to admit it or not, I know a lot of these guys that make videos don't know a lot about football. You would have to, you know what I mean? You got to be conscious that some people just don't get what's going on. Javon Hargrave is one of the best defensive tackles, one of the best nose tackles, in the game of football. He's really good in his technique. He's a beast. He got a high motor, and it was an absolute sleeper of a pickup by the Philadelphia Eagles. it was a sleeper of a pickup. I mean, you know, a lot of people want to say this and that, but then you can compare. The dude had a better season from the interior than Tank Lawrence did. Now, Tank Lawrence's job is to sack the quarterback. This dude Hargrave got almost identical sacks and more tackles, more combination tackles, man. You know what I mean? It is what it is, man. I think it was a monster pickup. Now you want to talk about Jatavius Brown from the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, Jatavius Brown strikes me as a much-needed pick for a core. You're talking about linebacking core, for a linebacking core that just needs some type of boost. Now, where he struggled at, from, you know, reading reports and, you know, just watching a little bit of film that I did get to watch on him in a couple, you know, in the last couple of days, he really struggled in the run defense. He had a real issue with, like, you know, shedding blockers and getting to the running back. But he's really, really good in pass defense. He's almost like a, remember when we picked up, what was the guy's name? What's his name? Zach Brown. We had Zach Brown at the beginning of part of last season. It's like a flip-flop. Zach Brown wasn't that good in coverage, but Zach Brown was really fast for his position, and he was good at the, you know, at attacking the run and just being aggressive. This dude is better at stopping the run than Zach Brown was in coverage. Zach Brown was awful in coverage. This guy's great in coverage, and he's not that good at stopping the run, if it makes any sense. I like the pick up there as well. I feel like you could have been more aggressive in signing somebody like a Clay Matthews to a 1-year deal, you know, rather than this guy. I feel like you could have really got somebody that could have really made a difference, but I'm not mad at the pick. Will Parks, North Philly zone. He will make an impact. He will make an impact. Playing for his hometown team, he'll make an impact. I think he's set for a breakout year. Because if all things don't pan out and we get short some cornerbacks, Will Parks can play safety, and Jalen Mills can go back to cornerback because he's done it for years. You know what I mean? But I don't think Jalen Mills wants that to happen. I think we want to have kind of like a safety by committee, because we don't think nobody is going to be able to, you know, get that juice out of the position like Malcolm Jenkins was, being on the field every down. You know what I mean? They just don't make football players like that anymore. So, you know, now let's look at some things that the other guys did in the division. Let's go right to the Dallas Cowboys. They lost Robert Quinn, who played well enough to get an extension, obviously. They lost Robert Quinn. They lost, I think, Heath. Who else did they lose? They lost Witten, I believe. They lost Byron Jones. They lost a lot of people. Out of all the guys they lost in the secondary, they did replace somebody with Clinton Dix. But, you know, losing your best corner and not being aggressive and trying to get like a guy like Darius Slay or something like that leads me to believe that the Dallas Cowboys defense is definitely set to take a step back. Now, you know, that's just no shade. That's not being negative. I just didn't see him be as aggressive as the Eagles were in free agency. Clearly. You know what I mean? Everybody laughed at us because, you know, we all came down on Howie at the same time, you know, saying, hey, what the hell is Howie doing? Nothing's being done. And then when you see what he's done as a collective, you know what I mean? Now you start to see like, oh, okay, things were done, just not in the time we wanted, and just not the players we wanted initially. So it is what it is with that one. Now, the Giants and the Redskins, I'm not going to say I'm writing them off, but I'm not worried about them. They both got new coaches. They both trying to find a new identity. They don't even know which way is up at this point. The Giants and the Washington Redskins. Now, the Washington Redskins are interesting to me because we could potentially have Chase Young in the division due to something that they do when it comes to draft night. Or they can go ahead and change complete directions and grab another quarterback. You want to get a quarterback that you want to grow with Riverboat Ron, now's your perfect opportunity. I think a lot rides on the draft because of the Washington Redskins and what the Washington Redskins are going to do at number 2. The Washington Redskins can bust this entire draft open if they don't take Chase Young. I mean, I'm talking about they bust this whole thing open. Everything changes for everybody if they don't take Chase Young at 2. Because not taking Chase Young at 2 forces the Detroit Lions' hands like, I got to take Chase Young. I got to take Chase Young. Or maybe Chase Young drops to like 5. Like anything could possibly happen if you don't take Chase Young at 2. You know what I'm saying? Because you could take Tua at 2. And I know the Dolphins got their eyes on a guy like Tua. I think the Dolphins pick at 5. You know what I mean? A lot of stuff happens, man, in this draft, man. You know what I mean? Based upon free agency as well. So, you know, I'm not really, you know, if you want to pick a winner on who won free agency out of the NFC East, it's easily the Philadelphia Eagles if you think about it. It's easily the Philadelphia Eagles. They addressed key concerns. Everybody that's supposed to be under contract is under contract or already released. We don't have any baggage lingering over like a quarterback that's franchise tagged. We don't have stuff like that happening. And then when you go ahead and pay Amari Cooper all that money, and then we go get Darius Slay, who's been phenomenal against Amari Cooper, and you know, I feel like you set yourself up, you know, to be where you want to be if you're the Philadelphia Eagles. Now let's talk about Rasul Douglas for a minute. Rasul Douglas is currently being shopped. I think some of his social media antics as of late, you know, it's warranted. The Philadelphia Eagles trying to shop him. He's on Instagram. He's on Twitter arguing with fans. Fans are saying, don't make me go get Amari Cooper on your ass. I mean, he got to show some composure. Now, if we can get anything back for him, I'll be happy to get a 5th round pick for him. If we get anything back for him, let's go. You know what I mean? A lot of people are asking me who should be shopped. Is it Sidney Jones or Rasul Douglas? Sidney Jones showed amazing promise towards the end of the season. I think he ended up finishing the season with 2 picks and a crucial one in a game that closed the game in a must-win down the stretch for the Philadelphia Eagles. So I think Sidney Jones is going to come into a great zone and be able to learn from a guy like Darius Slay. Now, the Philadelphia Eagles grade during free agency, I would definitely give the grade a B. I'm not going to say it was an A because I think you could have did better in the linebacking situation, but you absolutely hit the mark on Slay and Hargrave because you actually extended Slay in the process. You didn't go grab a guy who was coming towards the tail end of his deal. So I like what happened right there. The Dallas Cowboys, I'm going to give the Dallas Cowboys a D. Because when you're talking about, you know, I don't count re-signing guys who played for you last year as free agency. You know what I mean? It was good that they were able to get things done for Dak and Amari, but those guys were already Cowboys players. In terms of bringing people in differently, I didn't really see nothing different. And the Giants, I'll give the Giants a C+ for sure. I'll give the Giants a higher grade because bringing in Martinez and bringing in, what's my guy name? The cornerback from the Panthers, I think those was bold statements, man, that they're at least trying to get better. You know what I mean? But, you know, let me know what y'all think in the comments.